Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I will tell you about how to set up a practice environment to work with the Linux command line with the help of a desktop virtualization software called VMware Workstation Player. Here is a overview of the steps that I'm going to perform. So I'm starting with this people. So this outside rectangle that we have here in this paint document, this is my physical laptop where Microsoft Windows 11 operating system is running. This Microsoft Windows 11 operating system running in my physical laptop is called the host operating system. Now what I am going to do is, under the control of this Microsoft Windows 11 operating system, that is the host operating system in my physical laptop, under the control of this host operating system, I am going to run a desktop virtualization software called VMware Workstation Player. And with the help of the VMware Workstation Player, I can create a virtual machine. That is what I have depicted here with this box inside this outside rectangle. Okay, the outside rectangle refers to my physical laptop where Microsoft Windows 11 operating system is running as the host operating system, and here in my physical laptop I will create a virtual machine with the help of VMware Workstation Player. VMware Workstation Player, just like I mentioned earlier, it is a desktop virtualization software that will run under the control of a host operating system. Now, in this virtual machine, I will install the CentOS Stream 10 operating system, and after this installation is done for the CentOS Stream 10 operating system in this virtual machine, the CentOS Stream 10 operating system that will be running in this virtual machine will be called the guest operating system. Alright people, so that's something which I wanted to tell you in the form of a overview about what I'm going to do now. Alright, now one more important point to note is this people. When we use VMware Workstation Player, the VMware Workstation Player software uses this kind of boot device order that I have mentioned here. The first boot device will be the hard disk, followed by optical drive, followed by network, which means that if there is a operating system already installed in the hard disk, the virtual machine will load the operating system from the hard disk itself. In case the operating system is not installed in the hard disk, the virtual machine will try to load the operating system from the optical drive. So if the optical drive is not able to provide the operating system, the virtual machine will try to boot over the network. So that is what I have mentioned here people in the form of overview. Okay, now I am going to tell you about from where you can download VMware Workstation Player. So you can use any web browser. So I'm going to just quickly demonstrate that. So I'm saying this here, VMware Workstation Player download. I'm searching for this. So please use any web browser and search for VMware Workstation Player download. And here, this particular link for tech spot, you can follow that people. So I will click on this link, VMware Player download free version. I'll click on this, and in this page you can see the different downloads that are available, where the host operating system is Microsoft Windows. we can just click on Windows here. This is what I have done to download VMware Workstation Player in my laptop, in my physical laptop, since I have Microsoft Windows 11 running in my physical laptop. So I will share this link, people, this particular link. I will share this particular link in the description for this video. And now when I click on Windows, you can notice that after a little bit of time, the download will start. You can also do the same in case you are using Microsoft Windows 11 as the host operating system in your physical computer. See, the download has started, and I already have downloaded and installed VMware Workstation Player, people. So what I have done is I have cancelled this. Okay, I just have cancelled this particular download since I have already downloaded VMware Workstation Player and also have installed that software in my laptop. So after the download for VMware Workstation Player is complete, please use that downloaded software and start the installation of VMware Workstation Player, and you will be ready to use the VMware Workstation Player software in your physical machine, or that is the physical laptop or the physical desktop. All right, now I'll just mention, people, here that I already have downloaded and installed VMware Workstation Player. So if I say like this, VMware Workstation Player, I start the app. Okay, you can notice that I have VMware Workstation Player downloaded and installed in my physical laptop. Now, what is the next step? That's what I'm going to proceed with now. I already have told you, people, in the overview that I'll be installing the CentOS Stream 10 operating system. So I am using CentOS Stream 10 for the demonstrations. However, you can use any Linux flavor of your choice. I am going to use CentOS Stream 10 operating system. So I will now tell you about how to download the ISO image or the operating system image for the CentOS Stream 10 operating system, and then I'll demonstrate how we can create a virtual machine with VMware Workstation Player and then install the CentOS Stream 10 operating system as the guest operating system in that virtual machine. The next one that I'm going to now tell you is about from where you can download the CentOS Stream 10 operating system's ISO image. That's nothing but the ISO image. So I'm sorry, I'll repeat this. In the next step, I'm going to tell you about from where you can download the ISO image for CentOS Stream 10 operating system. That's the operating system image. ISO image is the operating system image for the CentOS Stream 10 that I'm going to download. Okay, for this you can use any web browser, people, and just search for CentOS Stream 10 download, and you can see a page like this, CentOS link here, download the CentOS project, the first link that I got in the search result. So I'll just click on this, and the latest version of CentOS Stream 10, sorry, I'll repeat this. The latest version of CentOS Stream is CentOS Stream 10. This is just corresponding to Red Hat Enterprise Linux version 10. Now, I will accept the default of the CentOS Stream 10 here, and then my physical laptop is a Intel i7 processor based machine. So I just need to select this. The ISO image for x86 underscore 64. That's the ISO image for 64-bit Intel based systems and also the compatible systems like AMD processor based systems. So please notice this, people. If I click on this mirrors here corresponding to the ISO for x86 underscore 64, when I click on this, the download will start for CentOS Stream 10 for the hardware platform architecture of x86 underscore 64 for this one. I will click on this and you can notice that the download starts. And please notice this, people. This is quite a large file, around 9.6 gigabytes, 9.6 GB in size. It will take a bit of time to download. And what I have done is I already have downloaded this CentOS Stream 10 operating system's ISO image and I am keeping it ready to move on to the next step. So I have cancelled this download. So what I have done is, people, I have also moved the CentOS Stream 10 operating system's ISO image to this particular folder, CentOS downloads, in the D drive of my physical laptop. Okay. So when the download was completed for CentOS Stream 10 operating system's ISO image, I have moved that ISO image file for CentOS Stream 10 to this particular location in my physical laptop. Alright, people. So having mentioned that, now it's time for me to demonstrate how to create a virtual machine with the help of VMware Workstation Player and then install the CentOS Stream 10 operating system as the guest operating system in that virtual machine. Let's do that now. Now I already have a virtual machine created in this VMware Workstation Player, people, and also I have installed CentOS Stream 9 there, which is one version earlier than CentOS Stream 10. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about how to create a new virtual machine and then install a guest operating system in that virtual machine. So in VMware Workstation Player, I just need to click on the home icon here in order to create a new virtual machine. Now we can see a number of links here. I will now use this link, create a new virtual machine, to create a new virtual machine, and then when I successfully create this virtual machine, it will be listed here in the left hand side panel. Let me start with this, people. I will now click on create a new virtual machine, and here there will be three options that are available. I have selected this one, people. I will install the operating system later. So in case you are I'll repeat this. In case you are also going to use VMware Workstation Player, please follow the same approach. You can select I will install the operating system later. If this is not selected, okay, please ensure that this option is selected. I will install the operating system later. Click on the next button. Now the VMware Workstation Player is coming back with a question. What is the guest operating system that you are going to install in this virtual machine? I am going to install Linux, so I find that it's already selected, people, here. In case Linux is not selected here, please select Linux, and then the particular version, the particular flavor of Linux and the version of Linux in this drop down list. In the VMware Workstation Player version that I have, I can only see up to CentOS 8. It doesn't matter, people. Okay, even if I select CentOS 8 64-bit like what I see here, it is perfectly okay. It'll work perfectly fine. even if I install CentOS Stream 10 operating system as a guest operating system in this virtual machine later on. Okay, so I'll select the CentOS 8 64-bit, click on the next button. Now this next question is about the virtual machine name. So this box is talking about the virtual machine name, people. Okay, I think it's a bit small for you to see, so I will use Windows magnifier. Yeah, here you can see, people, here. Now CentOS 8 64-bit is being taken as the default name for the virtual machine. So this is the name for the virtual machine that you will see in this left hand side panel here once the virtual machine is created. So what I'm going to do is this, people. Okay, so I'll change this because I will be having CentOS Stream 10 running in this virtual machine after the installation. So I will specify CentOS Stream 10. Okay, let me say this is a demo machine. This is a virtual machine that I am going to create for demonstration purposes, because once the CentOS Stream 10 operating system is installed in this virtual machine, I'll be using this machine for demonstration purposes. So I just gave a meaningful name here. And then we will here the location. The next question is about the location, which is the hard disk space specification. From where, I'm sorry, I'll repeat this. The location here is a question about in the physical computer from where you want to provide the hard disk space for this virtual machine. By default, it will be taken from the C drive. However, in my case, people, in my physical laptop, I have two hard drives. One is the C drive, which is having just about somewhere like around 50 gigabytes free, and I have a second hard drive, the D drive, where I have more than 400 GB or 400 gigabytes of free hard disk space. So I'm going to change this here because I want to take hard disk space for this virtual machine from the D drive of my physical computer. So I will just do this, people. I will go to this PC here. I just have clicked on browse, and then I just have selected this PC here, and then I have the D drive, which is having, yeah, it's around 460 gigabytes free. So I'll just go ahead and click on this, and if I just scroll down a little bit, I can see that I already would have created a folder with the name VMware Virtual Machines. So I will just go for this one. So within this folder, people, what I'm going to do is here in the D drive VMware Virtual Machines, it's a folder. Within this folder, I want to create a new folder. Okay, from where the hard disk space shall come for this virtual machine. Okay, so now this new folder, I'll rename it meaningfully. So CentOS Stream 10 demo. I can give any name here. I can specify any name here. I just have specified a meaningful name here. Now I will go ahead and select this, people. Okay, click on the OK button, and now you can notice that I have changed the machine folder location. That is, all the files that are created in my physical laptop with respect to this virtual machine, they will take hard disk space from this location. Okay, so that is what I have done, people. Now I need to click on the next button. All right, now in the next question, I need to specify the size of the operating system disk. So now what I am going to do is, this is a specification regarding the hard disk that will be created and attached to the virtual machine. Okay, so that is what is the question here, people. How large do you want this hard disk to be? Okay, This is the operating system disk, because for the virtual machine, we need to have a hard disk created and attached to this virtual machine, where the operating system can be installed later on. So the disk size can be seen with a default value of 20, that is 20 GB. That's perfectly okay, people. And I will select store virtual disk as a single file, and that's perfectly uh, okay. You can select any one of these. Okay, you can keep the default also. Split virtual disk into multiple files if you want. So now I click on the next button, and you can now notice, people, this is a page where I can review the um, configuration settings for this virtual machine. Okay, now I need to do two steps, people, still before I click on the finish button. What are those? I'll tell you now. If you notice, the main memory allocated to this virtual machine by default is 1 GB only. I'm just going to increase that to 3 GB so that CentOS Stream 10 will install a bit faster, and also when I work with the CentOS Stream 10 guest operating system, when I work with this CentOS Stream 10 operating system later on with the help of this virtual machine, the virtual machine response will also be much faster. So I'll increase this main memory, people. Okay, and also I need to associate the ISO image file, the operating system image file, with the optical drive. Okay, there are two steps that I'm going to perform now. Increase the main memory and also associate the ISO image, that is the operating system image for CentOS Stream 10, with the optical drive of this machine, of this virtual machine. So for that, I'm going to click on the customize hardware button, and here I increase the main memory, people. I can just type here, or I can use this selection bar. I'll just type here. So 3 gigabytes will be 3072 megabytes. So that's taken care of now. And I also need to specify the location for the ISO image, people, by selecting this one, new CD DVD. Okay, the new CD DVD. When I click on this, you can notice that there are some options that are coming up, and here I need to select this option, use ISO image file, and then I need to click on the browse button to specify the location where the ISO image for CentOS Stream 10 is available. So that's available here in my machine like this, people. In the D drive, I have CentOS downloads. Here I have the ISO image for the CentOS Stream 10 operating system. So let me do this. I will select this and click on the open button. Now I have associated the ISO image, that is the operating system image for CentOS Stream 10 operating system, with the optical drive of this virtual machine. So now I can just go ahead and do this, people. I just need to click on the close button now in this page. Now I am ready to create the virtual machine. So that's the final steps that I have completed. Increasing the main memory allocation to this virtual machine, and also associating the ISO image for the CentOS Stream 10 operating system with the optical drive of this virtual machine. Now I will click on the finish button. And now if you see, people, here, the virtual machine got created. It is now appearing in the left hand side panel here. Please remember, the virtual machine has been created just now, and there is no operating system installed in the hard disk that is attached to this virtual machine. Okay, so that is the next step. Now I need to install the CentOS Stream 10 operating system into the hard disk of this virtual machine. Let me start with that, people, now. So I'm going to power on this machine for that. So how to power on this virtual machine? You can either click on this green color icon that is standing for power on, or you can click on this link, play virtual machine. Anyone you can use. Now the machine is in a powered off state, so I will power it on now. So when I power on, people, since the virtual machine cannot boot from the hard disk, which is the first boot device, it will now try to boot from the optical drive, with which I have associated the ISO image for the CentOS Stream 10 operating system. Now you can notice this here, people. There are 4 options here. The second option is selected by default, which will be taken after a timeout of 60 seconds, that is 1 minute. However, we don't have to use that default option, people, because that option will test the installation media, that is the ISO image, mapped to the optical drive of this machine that's functioning as the installation media. It will be tested now. However, I don't need that, people, because it's a ISO image, it's not a physical DVD. So I just click on the small window inside here, and then I use the up arrow key. So when I click inside this small window, people, that rectangle inside the grub version 2.12, somewhere inside that, when I clicked on that, the timeout countdown stopped, and I was able to use the up arrow key to select the first option that reads install CentOS Stream 10. Let me now press the enter key, people, because this is the option I want to use to start the installation. Okay, let's proceed. Now I press the enter key. And now check this, people, here. After a little bit of time, the installer program will come back with a graphical interface that we can use for the installation process. We'll just wait a little bit here. After a little bit of time, people, the installer will come back with the graphical interface that we can use for the installation process. It is a quite simple installation method, people. The interactive installation that we are going to perform now will be very simple. I'm just waiting for the graphical interface to come up. Little more waiting, people, here. I'm sorry about that. This is normal. The installer takes a little bit of time to come back with a graphical interface with which we can continue with the installation. Yeah. Now I got the graphical interface, people, and the very first selection, and I'm sorry, I'll repeat this. The very first selection that I need to take care of is the language that I'm going to use for the installation. So here it is, people. There are multiple options that we get. I'm going to select English. So that is what I have selected now, and I am perfectly fine with English US. So now I will go ahead and click on the continue button. So when I click on the continue button, people, in a little bit of time, this particular page comes up, and we just have to perform some minimal steps to proceed with the installation. So if you notice, people, there are different sections in the configuration settings here. First one is the localization. Now it says that the keyboard will be set to US English keyboard for me. That's perfectly okay for me. And then the next one is the software from where the um, operating system will be available for installation. The installer has already automatically detected that it is now using the installation media that is available in this virtual machine in the form of the ISO image for the CentOS Stream 10 operating system. Now here you can notice, people, in the installation destination, this is the specification of the hard disk where the CentOS Stream 10 operating system has to be installed. However, you can notice that there is a red color mark here with the text. I'm sorry, there is a text in red color, automatic partitioning selected. Okay, the installer says that the automatic partitioning is selected to use the automatic partition plan for this hard disk. However, we still have to confirm that, people. So I am okay with the automatic partitioning selected here. However, I still have to confirm that. So I'll do that now. I click on that portion, people, and when I come to this page, I do not have to do anything, and I just need to click on the done button in the top left corner. This is just for me to provide a confirmation that I am perfectly okay with the automatic partitioning that the installer will use for the operating system disk. Now you can notice that, people, that red color highlight for automatic partitioning selected is gone. Now the language support, I am perfectly okay with the standard US English language support, and software selection is set to a default of server with GUI, that is server with graphical user interface, people. I will keep the default, and I will also recommend that you also keep this default, because in the later practical activities that we will perform with the command line, it is good to open multiple terminal screens. So please keep this default, server with GUI or server with graphical user interface for software selection. Kdump is enabled by default. Please keep that. Please keep the default for Kdump. Time and date, the VMware Workstation Player, the installer, I'll repeat this, people. The installer for CentOS Stream 10 has already detected that my time zone is Asia, Kolkata, since I am based in India, and I will keep that. And then network and host name, the network is configured for the only network interface that we have in this virtual machine, people. However, for the purpose of the topics that we will cover in this playlist regarding the Linux and Unix command line fundamentals, we need not worry about this, the network and host name. So I will not make any change here. Now, what I will do is, people, the next section I'll come to that here, the user settings. The user settings, we can see there are two sections here, root account and user creation section. Now, root account is disabled by default here, people, in CentOS Stream 10. However, what I am going to do is I am going to enable the root account. Okay, so I'll click on this portion and I will select this second option, people, enable root account. Okay, so when I do that, I can set up a password for the root account. So I'm going to use a password like this, people. Okay, so the installer considers that it's a strong password. So I will now confirm the same password. I'll retype the same password for confirmation purpose. And then when I'm done with this, I just need to click on the done button in the top left corner. Now the next step is to create a regular user. So in the real-time projects, we do not log in with the root account directly to a Linux server, people. What we normally do is we log in with a regular user account first, and then we switch user into root account whenever we need to perform some system administration activities. So I'm going to follow the same approach. I will now create a regular user, and this regular user account is the one that I will use for the first or the initial login to this virtual machine. So for that purpose, I'm going to click on this user creation, this portion. Now you can see, people, the question is about the full name. For the full name, I can specify whatever I want. It can be very descriptive also. It can be very much descriptive also here for the full name. The full name is going to be stored as a comment or remark about the user in the relevant configuration file in the Linux system. Now, the next input is for the user name. For the username, people, I can accept this default that the installer has selected for me based on the full name that I entered earlier. However, I can change it now. So I will specify frame. Okay. So what will happen is, this is the actual user account that will be created, people. Okay. Frame is the actual user account that will be created. The full name will be stored as a description or a remark about the user in the relevant configuration file. Okay, I am not changing anything regarding the next two questions, people. Add administrator privileges to this user account. So this user can use some escalated privileges to perform system administration activities, since this user will be added to the wheel group, which is a group of system administrators. Please do not worry about that, people. Whenever you learn about Linux system administration, this is something going to be of interest for you. Now, I will be later covering Linux system administration in a different playlist. I'm sorry, in a different playlist. I'll be covering the Linux system administration activities. So there I will tell you about this. Now, the second checkbox is saying that require a password to use this account. Yes, for the user frame to log into this system, we want the user frame to enter a password and authenticate before successfully logging in to the to this CentOS Stream 10 system. So it is very much recommended, people, that password control is used. So I will now specify a password. So this checkbox also I will leave it at the default to ensure that this user frame can only log in with a password. Okay. Now that particular password that this user frame shall use for login to this CentOS Stream 10 system, I am going to specify now. And when I'm done, yeah, I just have entered the password, people, and I have typed the same password again for the confirmation of the password. And now I click on the done button. Now you can notice that the begin installation button is enabled. So now I am ready to start with the installation. Okay, let me now go ahead and click on begin installation button. And when I did that, people, when I clicked on the begin installation button, the installation is started. It will take somewhere like around 15 minutes, that is 15 minutes to 20 minutes to complete the installation. So what I will do is, I will let the installation continue and complete. When the installation gets completed, this reboot system button will become enabled. So I'll continue after the installation is complete, people. Yes, now the installation has been completed, people, because you can now notice that the reboot system button has been enabled. So this is going to be the first reboot of this machine post installation. So let's proceed with that. I am going to click on this reboot system button now. The machine is now going to reboot, and this is the first reboot after the installation. I'm just waiting, people, for the machine to reboot and come up. Yeah, we just can wait a little bit here. The virtual machine is now booting from the hard disk because the operating system is now already installed in the hard disk. Okay, so because of that, the virtual machine is now booting from the hard disk, and in some time it will come back with a graphical desktop login screen. Let's wait a little bit of time, people. The virtual machine will come back with a graphical desktop login screen. Okay, now we can see that. Here we can see the full name for the user account that I created as a regular user, people. The actual username is Prem, and the full name I specified Prem Kumar. That's the full name that I see here. However, the actual user account is Prem. I'll click on this full name, people, and I'll be prompted for the I'll be now prompted for the password for the user Prem. I provide that now. I enter the password for this regular user Prem. Press the enter key after typing the password, and now you can notice, people, the login is going to be successful, and I will see a screen like this. Okay, now this particular question is to check with you whether you want to take a guided tour of this graphical desktop interface. We do not need that, people, because we are going to work with the command line interface for this CentOS Stream 10 Linux operating system. So I will click on the skip button. That's the default selection. I have done that. Now you can notice, people, that there is a small window for this virtual machine. Okay, there is a small window. Now you can notice that I can come to the host operating system like this. However, in case you find that you are not able to go outside of the virtual machine window, that means you need to switch from the guest operating system to the host in case required if you want to come back to the host operating system. So for that you can use Control Alt. In case of VMware Workstation, it works like this. Control key along with Alt and Alt. They need to be pressed together. I can say Control Alt can be used to switch between the guest operating system or I can say like this, people, rather. Control Alt can be used to return to the host operating system. So this is just required whenever you find that you are not able to come outside of the guest operating system, that is the CentOS Stream 10 operating system running in the virtual machine. However, now I come back to the virtual machine where CentOS Stream 10 is running, people, now. So here what I will do is this is quite a small window, people, for the virtual machine. The borders are quite small. The borders are like this, which indicates that the window for the virtual machine is quite small. Now, for take it in, I'll repeat this. To take care of this, just use this window, people, here. CentOS Stream 10 demo, VMware Workstation 17 Player. In my case, this window you can just minimize and also maximize it again. Now you can notice that the virtual machine now has a much larger window now. So now how can I open a terminal screen? Because the terminal screen is where we can work with the command line interface for this CentOS Stream 10 system. So for that purpose, I just need to click on this bar here, people. There's a indicator here, some kind of icon here, like a bar icon. So just click on that and you will see a terminal icon here. If you see here in the last lines here, there is a terminal icon. Please click on that and this will open a terminal screen. Now this terminal screen is providing the command line interface for this CentOS Stream 10 system, and this is what we are going to explore in a number of different topics. Okay, so now I am going to do this, people. I'll tell you now how to increase the font size for this text in the command line interface that we got here. So the command prompt has appeared. The machine is asking me what is the next command I want to execute. However, the text is very small there in size. So in order to expand the font size in the terminal screen, I can do this, people. I can use Control+. You can now notice that the font size is increasing. So I can now do this. I now have a much better font size for the text in the command prompt, right? In the command line interface. So this is what I have done, people. Okay, I will write what I have done. Control+ can be used to increase the font size of the text in the terminal. So when we use a terminal screen, that is when we use the command line interface, in order to increase the size of the font for the text in the command line interface, we can use Control+. Now the command line interface is ready for use, people. We can use it now to execute any command that we want to execute depending on the purpose of the task that we need to perform. So here, for example, I can use the pwd command to check the present working directory. Please do not worry about these commands that I am executing for demonstration purpose, people. We are going to explore all these commands in a detailed manner later on. So I will use ls command to list files and so on. So I just have executed two commands, pwd, which produce the output of /home/frame, and ls command has been executed next. That has produced a listing of the files in the current directory or the present working directory, and this is the output from the ls command. We will explore this command line interface a lot more when we proceed with a number of next topics, people. With this, I will conclude the presentation now for this particular topic. Please subscribe to this channel and share this channel if you find that the content in this channel is useful to you in learning Linux related topics. Thank you.